We also miss Luis Díaz massively off the ball. Massively.
Ahí está, pasó lo que todos pensábamos que iba a pasar. Los hinchas de Liverpool están un poco tristes de que no tienen a Lucho Díaz. Y aquí les traigo varios comentarios de varios canales de hinchas de Liverpool en los últimos 10 días sobre lo que está pasando en Liverpool, lo que necesitan y a quién le están echando la culpa y por qué extrañan a Lucho Díaz. Ya saben, suscríbanse al canal, denle like al video, el pulgarcito me ayuda mucho, bajen, le dan al pulgar, es facilito, fácil, toma un segundo, esto le ayuda mucho al canal. Me perdí por varios días por dos cosas. Una, he estado peleando con la Bundesliga por el video que yo puse diciendo de que el gol de Lucho sí era válido, que era el gol de él y no era el gol de Ta, y parece que les molestó o algo así porque me estaban bloqueando el video. Uno de los videos es un video corto, no sé si lo vieron, y parece que no les gusta que les esté diciendo la verdad porque ellos se equivocaron, le quitaron el gol a Lucho Díaz, no sé si sabían, y es culpa de la Bundesliga, así que el árbitro y la Bundesliga que no han aclarado eso y se quedó así, le quitaron el gol a Lucho Díaz. Entonces me bajaron el video, estoy todavía peleando con ellos. Lo otro es de que los jugadores colombianos no han hecho mucho. Un par de jugadores hicieron, pero tienen canales pequeños. Los equipos tienen canales pequeños que a veces hacen videos de transmisión, a veces no. O si los hacen, son muy desorganizados o no celebran mucho. Así que si quieren que les traiga eso, yo les traigo. Pero a veces yo lo veo y digo, ¿esto será para ver? Así que por eso no les he traído nada. Pero bueno, les traigo esto de Lucho para que vean. Es un video bastante bueno, bastantes canales, bastante discusión. Está Tom Little, como siempre, está ahí metido, como siempre. Y ya se van a dar cuenta, van a hablar de Gapo, hablan de Salah, hablan de Woods. A todo el mundo le están echando la culpa, así que ahí están buscando cómo arreglar las cosas en Liverpool. Que como se dan cuenta, no están engranando, no les está yendo bien, pero seguro, a medida que pase el tiempo, ese equipo va a ser muy fuerte. Bueno, los dejo, no hablo más. Espero les guste el video. Denle like, no se olviden. Nos vemos pronto aquí en Golazo.
How the hell do you win a Premier League title? You buy Florian Wirtz, Alexander Isak, Hugo Ekitike, and you look worse.
It's almost making me feel like the Chiesa signing wasn't obviously Arnie's slot and that it was a Richard Hughes signing because he's got very good contacts in Italy. If you don't rate the player, why would you not sell him? He could have went back to Italy. Do you know why it's frustrating? Because you keep a player that you don't rate, but then you sell a player that you rate in Diaz. We are Liverpool, and if we really, really wanted to, we could have kept the player against his wishes. And that might have backfired, might not have played his best, but something tells me we could have got one more season out of Diaz. One more. But Diaz was valuable last year, and you sold him. And then you keep Chiesa, who you don't rate. You just want to play him in garbage time minutes. Bro, it's mad. I can't lie. It's mad.
Do you miss Luis Diaz? Thoughts on Chiesa? See, yes and no. I miss Luis Diaz because he would have been put into the game to do what Rio could have done. And yet Rio wasn't given the chance to do it. So this is where I struggle with the whole line of this player is a replacement for that player. When it comes to the crunch, this player hasn't got the same belief from the manager as Diaz. So do I miss him? Yes. But I'm more baffled as to why we're not putting the tricky, young, up-and-coming, fast player to run at the fullback, get him booked, give him something to think about. But Diaz would have been on that pitch and, yeah, he would have ran at them and tried to do something different.
At times this season where we've looked blunt, it's because we have lacked pace in attack. For me, we haven't looked as good in transition. Obviously, we missed the early ball out from Trent. There's no doubt about that in getting out. I think we missed Luis Diaz's ball carrying. Mohamed Salah is slowing up. There's no doubt about that. So we're not getting pace off that flank. Cody doesn't want to go outside his man really and demonstrate pace.
Diaz and Elliott were the only two players I was concerned at losing.
And I think people need to understand you can't rewrite history. If Diaz wanted to leave, I know we could have done the whole he has to stay. It was a techie one. Maybe we'll speak about that on Monday because it was techie.
Well, it's not techie. We asked him, he wanted to go to Man City last summer.
I know.
And we asked him to stay for one more year, and he honoured that. So we honoured our agreement with him. Like,
I still believe it was wages. I could be wrong, but I still believe we just weren't willing to pay him.
He just wanted a new challenge.
Yeah.
I'll be real. The fact that he actually openly wanted to go Man City kind of dark for me, but Fairs.
Yeah, that is mad. I can't lie. If we
I
talk,
I
if
don't
we're
think
gonna-
he wanted to. I think he was willing to accept the swap if everybody else was okay with it. I'm not going to defend him if he wanted to do that. No chance. But
Look,
I
it's
do
same
believe
energy.
if we'd have offered him... Now I know he's on like 220 at Bayern. I think if we'd have offered him a better wage, I think he would have been okay staying. I just think Liverpool just kept telling him you're not getting a bigger contract. And he's like, all right, I don't want to be here then.
even if he wanted that wage, he was never going to get that wage at City. We know
Because 55 is crazy. If he was on
But
like
here's the thing.
110 or something, but 55,
he wouldn't have got 200 at
crazy.
City though. That's my argument. He wouldn't have got that money at City. He wouldn't have got 20.
He would have at least tripled it. He would have been on like 150 though.
I think there's a lot more people who'd say it's Salah now, and that there's no one to change on that side. There's no one you can put on that side. There's no like Diaz to swap.
So Salah not great, McAllister not great. So like it's worrying. We just look imbalanced now. I'd love Luis Diaz to be in this team still, because he's lighting it up in the Bundesliga. But you know, good luck to him. Good luck to him. He's done his bit for us. You know, won a league.
We have the quality on the ball, but off the ball, our three attackers are not intense as theirs, and we also miss Luis Diaz massively off the ball, massively.
A few people in the watch along last night were saying, can you imagine if we had Diaz now? This team's missing Diaz. And I totally got what they were saying. You know, that directness, that running at defenders. And that's where I have a gripe with Rio Ingamoa's inclusion in the first team squad this season, because if Diaz was on the bench, he'd have been on that pitch last night.
Like, you need that kind of person who's going to just make the dart and run to the end line and get across, going to win a penalty perhaps, maybe just if you have a tricky player like that, you're going to pull a little bit of focus from the defence out to that side as well, maybe create some space for someone else.
I think Diaz was a brilliant player, but bear in mind, like, he wanted to leave for about a year and a half.
He did 100%.
So I wouldn't blame the club for selling him, because I think we got a really good deal from Bayern Munich, and I think
I think the point people were making we're missing that's what we're missing, somebody to do that.
100%. Because that's not Gakpo and that's not Wirtz. They're two very, very different players to that, and I understand that.
Why don't you make the excuse for Diaz that he was played out of position and rotated around, but you do for Gakpo? Because you said Gakpo was reprogrammed to play centre forward in midfield for 18 months. Rodrigo's played right wing for the majority of his Real Madrid career. When he plays on the left, he still cooks. Diaz was predominantly a left winger, got badly injured, came back, was still playing left wing, and then played false nine last season, was still scoring goals. But you never made those. You never made those excuses for Diaz.
I wasn't excusing anything with Gakpo. I was explaining.
Gakpo, but you never gave that context for Diaz either, though, bro.
Last year I did.
The problem with Gakpo is he's so predictable. Gakpo is a very good player. Gakpo is not shit. Gakpo is probably, if I'm naming left wingers in the world, he is at least minimum the top 7. Top 6, top 7, top 8, top 5 maybe on any given time. I understand that. All I'm simply saying is, look, guys, I just think he needs to work on his predictability.
Whether we like it or not, Cody Gakpo is the best left winger in the Premier League. Now, what that probably says more to the quality of left wingers in the Premier League. It's not a very good pool of left wingers in the Premier League, but he's still, no arguments in my mind, the best left winger in the Premier League.
We have two wingers that can't take on their fullbacks. And I can't lie to you, if you've got two wingers that all they can do is just cut inside looking for space, you are limiting the way how you break down teams. Like, you know, when we had Diaz, even though Diaz, people will get annoyed with him, at least Diaz could offset a defender.
Diaz would have been better to keep over Gakpo for this team.
It still doesn't feel right not seeing him in a Liverpool shirt, and I can see the Bayern fans already falling in love with him with the energy, desire, and quality he's showing. I'll always have lots of love for Lucho, who always gave 110% for Liverpool, and wish him the very best in Germany in his new adventure. You'll never walk alone.